Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. In today's episode, a rare sea turtle is rehabbing at the Marine Science Center. The Volusia County Libraries celebrate you, their patrons. And Explore Volusia was paddling in local waters. In Volusia Here and Now, we visit the Daytona Beach International Airport to see the warbirds from past air battles. And later in Solutions for Your Life, we preview the Volusia County Cattlemen's Cracker Day. Finally, joining Joanne Magley in the studio is Patricia Boswell with the Volusia County Department of Health. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I hope you stay tuned. A rare Kemp's Ridley sea turtle is recovering at the Marine Science Center after being accidentally hooked by a man fishing in Ponce Inlet.
So the Kemp's Ridley turtle was brought to us here after being caught by a fisherman here in Ponce Inlet, right on the beach. And luckily some beachgoers were some concerned citizens that knew about our center and knew that we were able to treat sea turtles here. So after the fisherman cut the line, they took the turtle and brought it here, drove it to our center for us to treat.
The Kemp's Ridley is a critically endangered species, and it's considered the rarest sea turtle in the world. Its round carapace, or top shell, is a dark gray-green with 5 lateral scutes, or plates. Immediately after his arrival at the Marine Science Center, the turtle was examined and provided fluids and pain medication. Staff removed the fisherman's hook and treated the gash on the turtle's shoulder. Later in the day, an X-ray revealed that a second, older hook was lodged deep within the turtle's esophagus. Staff veterinarian Dr. Craig Pelton performed an endoscopy, removing the hook and setting the youngster on the road to recovery. Marine Science Center employees are watching the turtle closely to make sure he doesn't develop any complications. They have named him Rennie, an Irish name meaning small and mighty. Marine Science Center patrons can view Rennie the Ridley from the Turtle Hospital's observation deck. Once Rennie regains his health, the Marine Science Center will release him back into the ocean.
The good thing in Volusia County is that we have a lot of people on our beaches, beach safety, a lot of people that are able to spot these animals. But if fishermen or any beachgoers find a sea turtle on the beach, if it's not a large adult female at night nesting and it's up on the beach, it's because it is sick. So the worst thing you can do is put that animal back in the water, because unfortunately they're not going to be able to get the help they need at that point. So the best thing to do is to call Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, and they'll make sure that the animal gets to a hospital like ours, depending on where you are, and get the animal checked out and taken care of.
The Marine Science Center is an environmental learning center providing rehabilitation for sick and injured sea turtles and sea birds. Visitors can learn about marine life in the center's exhibit hall, which includes a 1,400-gallon touch pool, a 5,000-gallon artificial reef aquarium, living reef, octopus and moray eel exhibits, and a gift shop. Learn more at marinesciencecenter.com. The Volusia County Public Library System is celebrating its patrons with Customer Appreciation Day, Wednesday, April 13th, during National Library Week. Every day, the library employees stock the shelves, start the computers, and plan programs so they can have happy patrons who visit the libraries again and again. On this day, they want to thank their loyal patrons for their support. Residents are invited to stop by any of the 13 branches to participate in activities.
We're just going to make sure that we tell each and every one of them thank you for coming to the library and using the library, and how much we enjoy working with them. So we have just some little giveaways. We're going to give away some pencils and some little lunch bags that until they run out. We don't have that many, but it's just a day for us to really make an effort to make sure we're thanking those that use the library.
The library system's popularity continues to soar, with nearly 11 million transactions last year. Checking out fiction books is still the most common transaction, followed by DVDs. The librarians have listened to their patrons and have stayed current with the technology and other 21st century needs. With the addition of e-labs in the larger libraries, the staff is able to provide computer instruction and one-on-one assistance. They also offer e-government services such as applying for unemployment and Social Security benefits. The libraries continue to add downloadable and streaming resources, including music, books, movies, television shows, magazines, and audiobooks. Patrons with library cards can access them with almost any internet-enabled device. Many locals take part in the educational and entertainment programs that are offered by the libraries to enrich our community. For more information about the Volusia County Public Library System, you can call your local branch or you can visit the library's website at volusialibrary.org. A caravan of kayakers recently took part in one of Volusia County's popular Explore Volusia programs. The group embarked from Pontoon Island State Park and looped down Snake Creek and back up the St. Johns River Channel. Did you know the St. Johns is the longest river in Florida and the only river that flows north in the United States? It's celebrated for its ecological, recreational, and historical importance in the Sunshine State. Volusia County's Environmental Management Division sponsors Explore Volusia to acquaint residents with the county's natural habitats and land management practices. It also offers them an opportunity to get some fresh air and exercise while enjoying the beauty of natural Volusia.
This particular program was actually a request from some of the participants of other programs. They asked, because it is a longer program for more experienced kayakers, I hadn't done it before because of that reason, but this particular program, some of the people wanted to do it, so it was a full program.
Each month, the Explore Volusia program has hiking, biking, paddling, and eco-buggy trips that educate the participants in land management practices employed by Volusia County.
And then it's kind of just what we see when we're out there. A lot of animal tracks, birds, sometimes we see deer, a lot of bear, bobcat, coyote tracks as well.
All the trips are guided and free of charge. Upcoming programs include a bike about in Edgewater on April 15th, a guided hike of Hickory Bluff Preserve on April 18th, and an eco-buggy tour of the Wiregrass Prairie Preserve on April 22nd. For a complete list of programs, you can visit volusia.org/explore-volusia. The premier bomber of World War II and other historic aircraft were recently on display at Daytona Beach International Airport. Joanne Magley has more in this week's Volusia Here and Now.
Each year, the commemorative Air Force Air Power History Tour provides powerful, hands-on history lessons to audiences across the United States by bringing the sights and stories of World War II aviation to the public. Philip Pardon is the tour leader.
Well, the Air Power History Tour is put on by the Commemorative Air Force, which is a educational nonprofit organization whose mission is to honor American military aviation through flight, exhibition, and remembrance of the men and women who built these and flew these aircraft.
Planes on display included a Stearman, a T-34, and a C-45, but the main attraction was the B-29 Super Fortress named Fifi, the only flying B-29 in the world.
We found Fifi in the China Lake Desert in California in 1971 and got permission to bring it out, restore it, fly it out, and worked some 9 weeks restoring it to flying condition, flew it out to our headquarters and worked on it another 3 years, started touring with it in 1974, and have been touring with it ever since.
It takes 6 people to fly the B-29, 2 pilots, an engineer, and 3 scanners who would sit right here keeping an eye on the engine. And it takes a pilot with a lot of experience and training to fly the B-29. Tom Travis was a pilot with American Airlines for 36 years and then a corporate pilot. He's been involved with the B-29 since 1984 and has been flying Fifi since 2006.
It's an honor, and yet it's a challenge. You feel a sense of responsibility. I think this airplane's 70 years old, and I don't want to be the one to mess it up.
Although Fifi never flew in a war, she was used for training. The B-29 airplane carried 20,000 pounds of bombs. In comparison, the B-17 carried 6,000 pounds. Travis says it flew higher, further, and faster.
It's all cable control. There's no boosted controls. Extremely heavy on the controls. The glass, as you can see, looking at the nose of the airplane, it appears that you'd have wonderful visibility, when in fact you don't. You're looking down a set of window frames, and you have to bob and weave to see where you're going. You have to get used to lining the airplane up correctly on the runway. You would think that you would line the runway up with the nose of the airplane, but that's not true. You'd line up off the side a little bit, and that's very difficult to get used to. We work with the engineer. The engineer starts the engines, does a run-up, sets the power. On the runway, we line the airplane up and get the power stabilized, release the brakes, and then I'll steer with the throttles because the nose gear is castrating, it doesn't steer. And then once we get about 65 knots, we get good authority over the rudders, and I'll say engineer's throttles, max power. At that point, we're just about ready to lift off. In flight, we call for power settings. Typically, rather than set the power ourselves, on approach, we call for power settings. So it's a team effort all the way through.
After the tour in Daytona Beach, Fifi flew back to her base in Fort Worth, Texas, where she'll undergo maintenance for about 5 weeks. Then she'll start the summer Air Power History Tour in the Midwest and Northeast states. Parsons says Fifi is a very expensive aircraft, and the Commemorative Air Force relies on donations to keep her flying and touring.
What we really hope to accomplish with the tour is multifaceted. We really want to honor our veterans and have them come out and visit the aircraft or their families of remaining families of veterans who are no longer here. We also want young people and children to come out and so we can talk to them about the war and our freedom and how we got our freedom and how big a role the aviation played in maintaining that freedom.
For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
Today on Solutions for Your Life, Sharon Gamble, UF-IFAS Extension Agent in Volusia County, presents the upcoming Volusia County Cattlemen's Cracker Day event.
Hi, I'm Sharon Gamble, and I'm with the University of Florida IFAS Volusia County Extension Service, and we're at the Volusia County Cattlemen's Arena today in the pens in the back, which is soon going to be a hotbed of activity come the last couple days in April when we get ready and gear up for our annual Cracker Day event. Cracker Day by the Volusia County Cattlemen's Association is an annual event that we've done for 67 years, and it really has foundations in the history of the organization and with the fence laws of Volusia County. Up until that point in time, we were an open range state, and we were the last state in the United States to actually adopt fence laws. Volusia County and the state adopted fence laws, which meant all the ranchers now had to fence their property, and in so doing, they lost out on a very important cultural feature of the time that they had, because they would round up their cattle in the spring every year, sort them out, figure out what cattle belonged to who, and then when they were done, they'd have a big social event, a picnic and fun and games, and there weren't a lot of people living in the state back then, and so it was a way to spend time with your neighbors and catch up on gossip and anything else that was going on. When we had the fence laws came into effect, however, they realized after about 3 years they really missed having that big event, so they started what is known as Cracker Day. You might wonder why we call it Cracker Day. Well, it's kind of an interesting story that we don't really know the full answer to. There are some people that think that the original Floridians were called crackers because they ate soda crackers that came in barrels down from up north. Other people believe it's because the ranchers, when they used the whips to make a popping sound to try and drive cattle through the dense woods, that would scare the cattle and that would make them move, and so they were dubbed crackers. So it depends on which side of the historical coin you want to flip as to what the true meaning of cracker is, but it does refer to the ranching community of Florida. This year's event We will hold it on April 30th, and it's an all-day event. We will start cooking barbecue several days beforehand and massive amounts of baked beans and coleslaw. And when you come to Cracker Day, you get a huge meal, and you also get a full day's worth of fun and games over here in the arena. The events are things like wild cow milking and some pole bending and just a whole host of unusual things that kind of entertain people. And it's some of the crazy things that people used to do in years past. For those people that don't want to enjoy here in the arena, we also have a band that plays through the middle part of the day. And so whatever your interests are, you can come out for a full day of activity, whether it's just to eat, watch the events, listen to music, visit with your friends. It's important to Volusia County because it is part of our cultural background and the formation of what made this county the way that it is today. For more details on the event, please call the number below or go to the Volusia County Cattlemen's Association website, and you'll have all the event details will be listed there. Before too long, these stands will be filled with people. We hope that you happen to be one of them. Come out and enjoy our 67th annual Cracker Day with us. You'll have good food, music, entertainment, and be one of the people in the stands and just have a great time with us. I'm Sharon Gamble with Solutions for Your Life.
Would you slow down if your child were here?
It's time to go into the studio and join the Director of Community Information, Joanne Magley, with her guest, Patricia Boswell, the new officer for the Volusia County Department of Health.
Thanks, Amber. Well, each year, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation at the University of Wisconsin conducts a health indicator survey of every county in the United States. Volusia County is ranked with other 66 counties in Florida. So today, we'll take a look at this year's national health rankings, and we'll find out how Volusia fares in this national survey. We have with us in the studio Patricia Boswell, the new administrator of the Public Health Department in Volusia County. Hi, Patricia.
Good morning, Joanne. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to Volusia County.
Thank you.
So you just recently began your new role as the administrator for the health department, replacing our predecessor who retired. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I did start here in Volusia on March 18th, and prior to coming over to Volusia, I was the assistant director at the Florida Department of Health in Pinellas County. And I've been with the Florida Department of Health for 15 years.
Okay. So before we go into Volusia's rankings, let's talk a little bit about the survey itself. Tell us about the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.
Basically, Robert Wood Johnson, from the Johnson & Johnson Company, during the Depression, he really took an interest and helped his employees that were struggling at that point. And so he really felt that taking care of employees and making sure that they were well was important. So that's how it started. And then for more than 40 years, the foundation has really been supporting making this nation a much healthier place for the people that live here.
So this survey is of health indicators, represents 3,000 counties across the United States. What does the survey actually entail?
So it's a joint venture between the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the University of Wisconsin, and they collect data from a lot of public sources. The Centers for Disease Control, Medicare data is used. There's the behavioral health, it's a BRFSS, the Behavioral Health Risk Factor Survey, and the National Centers for Public Health Statistics, Vital Statistics is a big source of the information. So all of this information is gathered, and it's used to estimate the health of a community. And so basically they use it to, you can use it to rank yourself against a peer county.
Okay.
You can look at how the data compares to the state or to other places within the country.
Okay, so let's get into the rankings. How did Volusia County do?
Well, this year we did better. We have gone from out of the 67 counties in Florida, we're overall at 40, where last year we were at 45.
So we've done better since last year, but 40 still seems like it's probably not where we want to be. What's your reaction to the results?
Well, you have to look at basically the areas where we've improved and said what's happened to help those changes occur, and then look at areas for improvement. So basically, premature deaths continue to decrease. That's great. So whatever those efforts around infant mortality that are happening here in Volusia, we want to make sure that they continue. Poor overall health, which is measured by physical and mental health days, again, an area where we've improved. There was a slight decrease in low birth weight. So again, that's where we wanted to go,
Okay.
is to see those improvements, and then look at opportunities where we need to focus more attention, and adult obesity would be an area.
I noticed on the report that Volusia County ranks 44 for length of life and 44 for the physical environment. So what is physical environment? Like how you, like you just said, how you're living in your house, or?
It could be a number of things. So adequate housing certainly is your physical environment. So if I don't have housing, or if I'm moving from place to place, I may not be concerned about the fact that I haven't taken my medication for some time that's prescribed for my blood pressure or for my diabetes. And you know, if I have a chronic disease that is controlled through medication and I'm not complying with that, then you're going to see these emergency room visits and inpatient days. And again, it all adds to my deteriorating health, plus the cost of health care in general. The other part of physical health for our community that we need to think about is walkable communities. You know, do you live in a place that it's easy for you to get outside and do things? Is there adequate lighting? Are there pedestrian walkways? Are there safe bike routes? And how convenient is it for you? So if you have to go 10 miles to access a park, because it's the only place for you to be outside with you and your children, then that's going to reflect in that ranking. There are communities that are built around the fact that the residents of those communities can be outside as often and it's safe. The speed limit is low. The cars are, the only cars in the community are those that need to be there, so they know the children are playing, the kids are out playing. So again, that's your physical environment, the way in which you can be, I think, living on the outside and really physically active.
And I would think that, you know, Volusia County has an extensive trail system, not to mention our 46 or so miles of beach that we can walk. And I know that that would be a factor in people choosing where they live based on, like you just said, things that they're able to do. So, so I guess maybe it's more of awareness that there are these environmental elements available for people to take advantage of keeping physically fit and things like that.
Yeah, so where the people live and where those access points are. So are they convenient enough?
Okay. So now that this survey has been done for 6 years or so, what is the Volusia County Health Department actually doing to improve the ratings in the survey?
Our mission is basically to promote and promote and protect the health of our community and in an integrated way. You know, we're not going to change this alone. We're going to do it with our partners and with our community members. And so we want to take this data along with our community health assessment, and we've been fortunate this year in working with our hospital systems in doing that community assessment. And the next step is the community health improvement plan. And we will do that. We're an accredited health department, which means We do assessment, improvement plans, strategic plans, and they all align, not only for our county, but within the state of Florida. So let's take healthy weight as an example.
Okay.
That's certainly an area where we need to make sure that people understand the importance of maintaining a healthy weight, starting in childhood and into adulthood, and the consequences of not. I think that if people that are dealing with diabetes and the risk for amputation and blindness understood that it was all that extra weight
Right.
that led them down that path of chronic disease, they might have made changes
Right.
earlier. So for people to understand that a healthy weight is not only important to feel good, but it's important to maintain a long, healthy life. And we start in childhood. And how do you do that? Well, you eat the way you're supposed to in terms
Right.
of fruits and vegetables are part of our daily meal, and then being physically active and keeping our bodies healthy in that way.
So Patricia, for people who want to maybe view the survey and get more information on the rankings, how can they do that?
Well, there's multiple websites. Excuse me. We have the County Health Rankings website, www.countyhealthrankings.
Okay.
There's also the Volusia Health website that you can go to and find it, and then you'll find the specific information related to Volusia. And we have Florida Charts, which is the Department of Health data website, and that's FL Charts.
All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us today, and welcome to Volusia County. And we look forward to talking to you more in the future about any other health information that you want to get out to the public.
Well, thank you, Joanne. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and get this message out to our community.
All right. Our guest in the studio, Patricia Boswell, the Administrator of Public Health Department in Volusia County. Amber, back to you.
Thanks, Joanne, and thank you too for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osmond. Have a wonderful evening.